Morning, everyone. Let's call court to order. Today is Tuesday, March 17th, 2026. It's 9 a.m. Proof of posting, please.
The agenda was posted on Wednesday, March 11, 2026 at 4:10 p.m.
Thank you. And good to see we have a full court today. It just happened to be the day that we're going to pass the hat for the Retired Judges Fund, which will be on January 1st, will be cashed in. All right, this time, let's pause briefly for a moment of silence, and then we'll have Veteran Service Officer Steve Hernandez lead us in the pledges.
Please join the pledge. I pledge
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas pledge.
Honor the Texas flag.
I freely take Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Thank you. All right, this time, if there's any members of the audience that want to speak to the court on business matters, please do so at this time. Did you want to speak? Yeah. So state your name and where you live, and please limit your comments to about 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy St. Patty's Day to everybody. I'm glad y'all are wearing some green there. My name is Sarah Menarchik. My address is 2797 Ross Road in Ross. And I'm here on behalf of the Waco Data Center Opposition Group to thank Commissioner Will Jones for attending and answering questions Sunday night at our meeting in Ross. There were 63 people in attendance, 308 watched live stream. We appreciate his comments supporting our efforts and expressing, and I quote, "Nobody wants one of these in their area. Nobody wants one of these in their neighborhood, their backyard." Commissioner Jones, we know your support for our opposition is unquestionable. However, it takes more than one to win an opposition. Therefore, I ask all of you, commissioners, along with Judge Felton, to deny any future tax abatement request for the proposed data center in the Ross-Elmont area. The opposition for the proposed Lacey Lakeview Infrakey L2D2 project is no longer confined to the city, county, and state. It has received national and international media exposure. This past weekend, Sharon Goldman, Fortune magazine reporter, interviewed landowners who will be directly affected by the proposed data center project. She also met with local elected officials to understand their role in the project. From her interviews, she wrote a sample piece with the header, quote, "Ross, Texas, where a neighboring city controls the data center vote," quote. Those individuals that suffer the most have no vote. Ms. Goldman is writing a 4-part series on data centers found in Arizona, Louisiana, Minnesota, and Texas. The Texas article focuses on local government. International exposure includes Josh Otten, a YouTuber from the United Kingdom, who attended our meeting Sunday and interviewed attendees. His YouTube channel has over 1 million followers. In closing, the opposition is strong, and the negative publicity continues to grow, possibly hurting Waco's thriving tourism economy in the future. The Ross-Elmont communities need the commissioners and Judge Felton to deny any future data center tax abatement request on behalf of Lacey Lakeview and Infrakey. Thank you for your time, Commissioners. Judge Felton.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, want to go to, under proclamations and resolutions, there's a proclamation recognizing and congratulating Constable David Mailer for over 30 years of service. It's in your package. Great recognition, and if the court approves this, we'll send it to him. And so, any questions or comments, or is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion to approve.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you. All right, I'd like to go to item, DA's in here. We need to get him back to work. I'd like to ask Josh Teaton to come up. This is a criminal district attorney's authorization to use a county credit card for recurring judgment of certified copies fees.
And
Justin, oh,
yeah, he went ahead and went back to his office, but I was gonna speak on it, so.
Okay, go
we can
right
do it
ahead.
now or later. So the DA's office already holds a credit card that you have previously approved in a prior year. It was specifically to be used for open records requests through the AG's office. That's working well. They do have another need for that credit card now, and that is to utilize it for judgment documentation and then certified copies. And so those needing to happen quickly. And then also, most of them only accept credit cards now.
right.
And so we will have them follow those same procedures if approved. But that credit card, it will just expand the use of that credit card for them to
Okay.
those other uses.
All right, thank you. All right, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve, I think that was L1, request from
Yeah.
the district attorney's office. Motion to approve.
We have a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass. All right, I'd like to go to item M1. This is Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service update from District Extension Administrator. So Jay Kingston's here. Hello, Jay.
Morning, good morning. It's good to be here.
Good to have you.
Well, good morning. My name is Jay Kingston. I'm the District Extension Administrator for Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, and I serve the agents here in McLennan County as their supervisor, and I must say they are very productive and high-performing agents, and so I think probably you know that.
Yes, sir.
And we're very proud of the work they do here. And so I would like to just briefly share some things that they've done over this past year. The front of that newsletter there is kind of a district-wide impact that agriculture has across our 21-county district. But on the backside is we drill down to what's going on here in McLennan County and what your agents are doing. By no means is this a complete list of all the things that they do, but just some of the highlights. You see, we had to go with a small font there, so because we had to get a lot of good stuff on that page. You have 4 agents here with AgriLife, and then you also have a partnership with Prairie View A&M with one agent here as well. And so we're proud of the work they're doing. In ag and natural resources, you can see Shane is working with the row crop farmers, providing them with some education to help them with their operations. You can see over the number of educational events, he's had over 400 attendees, impacting over 109,000 acres worth of row crop production. Fortunately, agriculture is still a big income-producing industry for McLennan County, and probably always will be, as it should. But you do have your population's growing, and so some of that property is being divided up, and so Jared is providing some education to those people as new landowners, and so we've seen a lot of new landowners really don't know much about being stewards of the land, and so Jared's doing a good job of addressing that issue with his 4-part series.
Is that what you call weekend ranchers?
That's what we call weekend ranchers, yes, sir. And so he's doing a good job there. Our 4-H and youth development program here in McLennan is huge. It's one of the biggest ones we have in the district, 373 members this past year. Maddie and Chisa are doing a good job addressing that, and very active 4-H members. In fact, I always like to highlight the scholarships that those kids earn throughout the year, and McLennan County brought back about $65,000 worth of scholarships that they can use towards furthering their education. A lot of projects that are offered here, livestock projects being one of the biggest as well, but really appreciate the leadership type of projects that those kids are a part of, and they learn those life skills. They learn how to interact with others, how to be a leader and take advantage of those opportunities. Rachel does a great job in her family and consumer science programming. Very proud of her efforts here. 4 years you've been in, 5 years?
With extension?
Yes.
Yes, extension total 5 years here in McLennan County too.
She is probably our #1 programmer in the district, just offering a lot of programs each month to her clientele, bringing health and nutrition, education to your citizens here. She does a great job working with different organizations and agencies here in the county, and does a really good job with that chronic disease programming and providing those people with ways to help deal with those diseases, especially as it deals with nutrition and how it affects health and physical activity and how that impacts the health. But overall, you can see, you can read that at your leisure, but really a great effort here in McLennan County. Very proud of your agents, and on top of that, very appreciative of y'all's support of the program here, and we really appreciate that. But I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
All right, any questions?
No questions, comment. I was looking under your beef, cattle, and ranching where you discussed wild pigs continue to be a major pest. District 8, that's statewide, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
It's
Absolutely.
unbelievable damage they're doing to our crops. And I read an article that said that there are more wild pigs in Texas than there are domesticated hogs in the entire United States.
I would believe that.
That points out the problem.
Yes.
It's just in my backyard.
It may be.
That's true.
They tore my yard this last week.
Do not drive by Judge Felton's house at night more than
Yeah.
40 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's,
They're unbelievably damaging. The damage is unbelievable.
Damaging and prolific as well.
Yep.
any other questions, comments? I'd just like to say that, as you mentioned, we have an outstanding AgriLife division here. Maddie and her group working with 4-H, that's a great program, character building, which we need, skills and character building. Teaching them a skill, and on the way, they're learning how to be good
Exactly.
contributors to the population. But production agriculture, ag is a big deal in McLennan County, especially when you get along towards the river bottom, Brazos River bottom, where it's real rich and fertile soil. And, there's a lot of research being done that needs to be assimilated out to the production folks, and also people that grow grass in their yard.
Exactly.
Get a lot of help from that. And then also a lot of the programs pertaining to health and other things for the general public that y'all provide is very beneficial to the community. So we appreciate y'all being here. We're glad to provide space out at the building at Cobb's, which we're very proud of, and I know y'all are too.
Yes, absolutely.
And we've actually had numerous meetings out there in that meeting room for the community, so that's been beneficial. So I appreciate the hospitality y'all provide when we do that. So thanks so much.
Very good. Thank y'all. Y'all have a great day.
All right.
Judge, motion to approve report for recording.
All right. I'll second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passed. Thank you. All right, this time I'd like to go to M2. This is NG Prairie Hill wind project presentation. We have Mr. Russ Keene here today, so we'll come forward.
Y'all want to come on up too?
Yeah, good to see you again.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you for the invitation to be here. And Commissioner Wilson, we have met and briefed with you and the judge over the last couple of years. And I am Russ Keene with NG North America. And we want to update the court on the Prairie Hill Wind Farm decommissioning and repowering project. And we've got, I hope you can see on your monitors.
We have one here.
A
Big one
deck
right in
there.
front of you.
Great. This is a 5-year-old project. We are the wind turbines that haven't operated very well. They've been pretty stationary the last few years. We've studied it for a couple of years and are pleased to be decommissioning, which means we are going to remove those, tear them down, chop them up, bale them up, and send them out of the county for recycling. Not one iota of material stays in the county. And then in the fall, we will be replacing them. There are 100 turbines that will be coming down. I think 9 are going to come down today and tomorrow. And they will be replaced by 63, which are just larger, more powerful turbines, resulting in the same nameplate, as we call it in our industry, of 300 megawatts. That has been authorized by ERCOT years ago and needed by ERCOT and needed on the Central Texas grid. So we're looking forward to getting those electrons back on the grid. If we could click forward one slide, I want to just introduce a little bit about NG. We are not a household name. We are a 150-year-old European-based company, and we've been in Texas for 50 years with a headquarters in Houston. Just by way of background, the company was founded by a group of French engineers who built the Suez Canal 150 years ago. So
Same guys?
Sir?
Same guys?
Well, the French are healthy, but they're not the same guy. And from those early days of large infrastructure projects, we have been in the infrastructure and utility and water and natural gas and electricity business for all those years. In Europe, we own nuclear plants, gas plants. We are ranked as the largest distributor of natural gas in the world, meaning we are the largest utility. I worked for Lone Star Gas for 5 years here. And I was in Waco quite a bit, the predecessor to Atmos. Atmos is a huge U.S.-based distributor of gas. We are the largest in the world. We're, in Europe, sort of a household name, like Atmos is to folks in a number of countries. We just last week acquired the largest electric company in the U.K. We now will be running the electric utility in London and all of South England. Here in the one other interesting fact, we are the second largest importer and exporter of liquefied natural gas in the world. We send 5 million cubic feet of Texas and Louisiana natural gas that is liquefied over to Europe, and it is largely going into Ukraine for the last couple of years during that war. So I think we've got deep energy roots. Here in the United States, we're 50 years old. We have 100,000 employees globally. 3,400 of them are in the U.S. and Canada. 900 of them are in Texas. For these last 50 years, the first 40, we were I've always been in the electric generation business, and we had a large fleet of gas and coal, thermal, if you will, fossil fuel electricity generating plants in the Midwest and the South. We sold those 8 years ago and have exclusively focused on renewables since then. And in that basically 9 years, less than a decade, we've become the third largest owner-operator of renewables in the United States. Last month, the 2025 results were announced by Bloomberg NEF, an economic consulting group that follows our industry. We signed the largest number of power purchase agreements in the entire world of renewable energy. A lot of that was in the United States. So we build solar, we build wind, and we have a large fleet of battery electric storage, known as BESS. Texas has 150 of these BESS batteries. We own and operate 33 of them and have plans for another 10 or 15. Battery storage is becoming really important to the grid, and a good grid management tool. So I just tell you that background. I want you to understand I'm proud to work here. We're a world-class company. We invest $1 billion or more a year in Texas every year and have had for a while. And Prairie Hill is a project we're very proud of. It's on over 30,000 acres that we lease from over 100 landowners, and we're excited to get it back on track and producing. And our landowners have been very patient. I know they're excited to see more electrons being generated, and they will make more money here locally as well. The next slide, that's our team here. As I mentioned, we have studied this for several years. As you can imagine, it's a couple of $100 million investment that we are writing off and a couple of $100 million investment that we are redeploying. And John, who will speak in a moment, John Fournier is the overall developer. He is really running the business case here, has studied this the last couple of years with our engineers, our designers, our environmental people, our power marketing people. It's quite a complex investment decision that we are pleased was made favorably to reinvest and make this project work. Josh Polly could not be here today. His deputy, Jake Jacoby, they are on the ground. Jake is here 3 weeks out of the month, living here out in the field. We built a warehouse and small office just across the county line in Mart, and we have a substation out there as well. But they will be working with our contractors. Cody Earl, my far right, is the CEO of Destructible. They are the decommissioning contractor. Cody runs as CEO of his business, veteran-owned, out of Amarillo, and they are responsible for felling these turbines. They're coming down with explosives and being completely recycled. I've got a few handouts that I'll give you, and he'll tell you about it. The metals are all sent to Houston. The concrete bases, we take those down 3 feet below grade. All those chunks of concrete are actually recycled here by a concrete company in Waco. And then the fiberglass turbines are taken to Amarillo and recycled there. So we're really excited about it. It's the first project we've decommissioned. This is a relatively new industry, and a lot of eyes in our company are on this, and we are proud of the process so far. But let me hand off to John and a couple slides, and Cody, and then Jake. We can all take questions if you have any.
Yeah, thanks, Russ. Can you go to the next slide, please? So Prairie Hill Wind Project, I think Russ covered a lot of this, but it was 300 megawatt facility consisting of 103 megawatt Acciona turbines that obviously hadn't been operating as we had liked, and which brings us here today. They'll be replaced by 63 4.8 megawatt turbines, newer technology, completely different technology than what was used in the first time around. The original project configuration had 14 turbines in McLennan County for a total of 42 megawatts. In a new configuration, there's obviously less, so there will be 3 turbines in McLennan County for a total of 28.8 megawatts. I think we have a minimum obligation of 27 megawatts in our tax abatement agreement. We're reusing the existing transmission line, the existing substation facility, the existing operation and maintenance building. We've got about 118 landowners spread over roughly 30,000 acres in McLennan and Limestone County. From the original project, property taxes have been paid a total of $11 million to Limestone County, McLennan County, and various school districts. For the new project, as we all know, this project was built, the first project was built in 2019, 2020. Costs have gone up substantially from that since then. So, as will the assessed tax base of the new project. So we're projecting roughly $105 million over the years of the new project over those same entities. And I think I've shared with you folks before the breakdown of that, but happy to do again. So it's you know, exciting new project. The new project we're calling Prairie Phoenix, which I thought was a nice name. If we can go to the next slide, please. So in 2023, 2024, you know, we knew we had an issue. We're trying to figure out what's the best way to solve this issue. We looked at everything from, you know, just replacing the nacelles and the blades and reusing the foundations. We looked at every which way, and we came to the solution to replace them with these 63 turbines. So since we sort of locked in on that configuration, we've commenced our environmental field studies. We've secured investment decision from our investment committees. We've marketed the project to off-takers, and we've done considerable design, planning, and engineering processes, along which we've been engaging with the public and our local landowners. And then just, was it January, I guess, that the first turbines came down?
January, February, yeah.
Yeah, so now we've entered into the commissioning phase, and I think that's going well now. And then the new construction will begin likely the fall of this year. The turbines should arrive in April of '27, and the new project will be up and running by the end of 2027. If we can go to the next slide, please. So just an update as to what's been going on. The first tower, we called it the Golden Tower, was a test tower felling just to make sure that all our processes and procedures we had on paper worked well in the field, or to make adjustments as needed. And then the next turbines were felled in mid to late February, and we've got 9 more that are, I think, coming down today.
They are, yeah.
Starting today. And then after those next 9 come down, we're going to do it roughly 3 to 4 weeks of the batch. So we'll take down 9 to 10 or so turbines, then the crews will come in, clean them up, and the explosive folks will come out again 3 to 4 weeks later until they're all done. So I think we expect it to be finished around August. You know, weather permitting, we do need to consider the weather when we're doing this. And I think the turbines in McLennan County will be some of the last, just by the way we're sequencing these coming down. So now, Cody, if you want to talk about the
Yeah,
work that
absolutely.
your country does.
As introduced, my name is Cody Earl. I'm the CEO of Destructible. Destructible is a Texas-based, veteran-owned company. We're based out of Amarillo, Texas. We have a processing facility there. Our real niche in the industry is that we take care of the fiberglass. So I'll kind of start there in regards to our end-of-life solutions here. A lot of the concerns around wind turbines coming down is the fiberglass, right? Is it going to be in the ground? Is there going to be dust? And we specialize in that. So on the ground, when these turbines hit the ground, our guys are cleaning that up. We have crews that are going out and picking every little piece out of the dirt. We have sweepers that go across and sweep the little pieces of fiberglass. And we all put it in end dumps. Those end dumps, after they're cut, they're sent up to Amarillo. When they get to Amarillo, they're offloaded at our facility. They're shredded and stored indoors. Once they're shredded, it becomes what we call a raw material. We use that material for several different things. One of the main offtakes is a waste-to-energy plant. That waste-to-energy plant burns it and creates steam, and then creates energy out of that. So it's a way to keep that material out of landfills. The other one is that we use it in concrete. So we'll actually take that material, we'll filter it through, clean it, and then we put it into concrete. Anybody that's kind of familiar with construction knows that naked fiberglass can be used in concrete. We're replacing that with this as well. So there's several different uses for that fiberglass. That's one of the solutions that we have. We do all that in Amarillo. We have 2 processing facilities in the United States, one in Amarillo and one in Iowa, in Dexter, Iowa, that we do similar stuff with. So on the metals, the metals are all cut up on site, torch cut, put on trucks, sent to Houston for recycling, and then we sweep the ground and make sure that everything is clean. When the land is handed over, it's handed over in same or better condition than it was before the turbine was felled. So, and kind of what I did there, walking through it. When we start in a turbine, we prep the area, we drain all the oil, so all the oil is drained out of it, removed, so there will be no oil hit the ground once it's felled. We do a pre-burning and cleaning and prepping of the area so we can fell the turbine. Obviously, we look at where we're filling the turbine, make sure it's not going over gas line, water lines, those kind of things. And then it's explosively felled. I think some of you were able to go out and see the first one felled. It's kind of a neat experience, right, to see it. We use explosive charges. Once the turbine is felled, we go through and our crews start cleaning up all the material to make sure that the land is returned the way it needs to be. So, and then again, everything, our mission within our company is 100% landfill diversion. We don't send anything to landfills. Everything is 100% recycled. And on this project, we're able to keep 100% of it here in the state of Texas. So, and I think we have a small video here. Maybe if technology will work with it. And this is an example of a site to kind of give you we weren't able to get a video of that first one here, but we can show you kind of what it looks like.
How tall are the towers here in McLennan County and Limestone?
Approximately 85 meters at the hub height, yeah.
So the blades shatter essentially when they hit the ground?
Yeah, some of them shatter, some of them kind of lay over. But yeah, they'll shatter and come from apart once they hit the ground.
Does that cause an air quality issue?
It does not. No, not one that would be of any significance.
But it meets TCEQ standards and those things regarding air quality?
Correct. Yeah.
And with regards to the oil, how much does it take to run one of the turbines? How much oil is in there?
Somewhere between 200 and 220 gallons.
Okay, and you guys drain that out, so there's really no...
Correct.
Recycle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
As much of it as you can.
Gotcha. So the plan then is to decommission all of them before you start building back any of them?
Yes, sir. Yes, after all those sites are restored, because the new turbines are bigger, have a larger footprint, there has to be a new foundation built.
Right.
A lot of the same wiring and underground work remains, so that's pretty limited to connect the new 63. And there'll be new platforms and new construction. We have, and I rushed up here and didn't pass this out.
What was the thought, what was the thoughts behind decommissioning all of them before you start building back any of them? Because they're obviously talking about into two counties are spaced out where decommissioning over here is not necessarily going to affect what you've done way up there in Limestone counties, but what was the thought behind not going ahead and starting to build back in some of the areas that?
Yeah, so a lot of the new positions are going to be very close to the old position. So it'd be hard to have two crews sort of working over top of each other, and you've got, the crews filling the turbines and cleaning them up, while at the same time you've got excavators coming in and concrete trucks coming around and cranes and things like that. So it's just a cleaner way to separate it out like that.
The new turbines, there are, I think John mentioned, there are currently 14 are here in McLennan County, about 10% of the projects here. The other 90% is in Limestone. The 14 that are being removed here will be replaced by 6. Over there, the numbers are, the resulting numbers over there. We have about 5 total landowners that are losing a turbine or more, and about 5 total landowners picking up a new turbine. But that was you've got 2 different sets of contractors. You have the decommissioning folks, and then you've got the new construction. And the new construction, which will take place throughout the fall of 26 and about halfway through most of 27, will it'll be a lot more contractors, a lot more workers, 150 to 200. For that year. I handed out was one of the older road use agreement maps. I see Commissioner Wilson looking at it and marking it up already. That is still in effect. For the new construction, We will be back to work out a new road use map. Should have said at the outset, Amy Highland has been great to work with, and her team. We have briefed the sheriff here. We had a big meeting, your emergency services, McLennan County Waco Emergency Services folks pulled together a nice meeting. And we have made the ambulance services aware, volunteer fire departments of the construction in both phases, the decommissioning and the new construction. And there is some more truck traffic now, but there'll obviously be a lot more when the new construction is being built. In the community, I was glad to hear the AgriLife report. We try to support all of our school districts, our volunteer fire departments. We're looking to support food banks, things that are important over in Commissioner Wilson's district. But the Axtell ISD asked us, I asked what's important to you, and they asked us to provide some adders to the recent Junior Livestock Show sales for all their students. So we were pleased to send $100 to 24 projects over there for those students, and look forward to doing those kinds of more and more of that community support here in the years ahead.
I don't want to get ahead of your presentation, but at some point I want to talk about the tax base. You mentioned it a little bit, but is there any disruption in the valuations while it's not producing in the non-productive time? Sometimes that affects values because the income's dropping. Right. And then,
Yeah, I think that the assessed value will change as the sort of configuration of the projects change and turbines are taken out. I don't know exactly what that calculation looks like. I'd have to get with my tax people.
so are you expecting replacement of this, call it phase 2 or whatever, will be at least the value of what it was before you, like when we first made the agreement on, what the tax base would be? I know, and Commissioner Smith, one of the things, when it first happened, you weren't on the court, I don't think, at the time, but the whole project was $336 million, of which about $36 million of that was in McLennan County. So that was kind of the breakdown at that point, but I don't know if any of that shifts much.
Isn't the agreement based off the megawatts that's produced on those plates?
Yes.
So they've got to come back with at least.
It's 27 megawatts, and then for every, there's another additional payment for every megawatt above that. So we were paying for, I think it was 42 megawatts or something like that before.
But I think to Scott's question is, in the interim, when we're offline, like we are now, what, are they still?
Yeah, are y'all requesting a lower valuation?
Are y'all, right?
You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. Longer term, there's going to be a bigger investment overall in the new assets, in the new facilities.
Yeah, but I'm only here till December 31st.
Right. And can we get back to you with our tax consultants who and double check if there's going to be any sort of a lag or diminution?
And an example would be Sandy Creek coal-fired plant. Has all the political and everything else, air quality worries and those kind of things, their contracts shrunk. Therefore, their value shrunk because, it's based off not only the asset value, but also what kind of income it can produce. And so it went from the original cost was $1.2 billion or something like that. They came in because you can discount the environmental pieces of it to $850 million. And then because these contracts started dropping off, I assume, it was revalued 2 different times all the way down to under $300 million. In fact, maybe close to 200 or maybe slightly below that. So our revenue started dropping off from our original agreement, which we agreed to supply wastewater and some other things in it. So we were still supplying all that, yet not getting the return on the tax base. So that's what I'm.
Well, we have been paying, there's a floor, and we've been paying it even though we haven't been producing it.
Okay, that's an important point.
So, including to you and our landowners. So we're meeting that minimal obligation.
Yeah, that pretty much answered my
I think,
question.
I don't think that we would,
And then one other question, besides the, higher producing, windmills that'll go up, will you be adding any battery storage or any of those kind of things?
that's not planned at this
Not,
time.
not planned at this time, no.
Okay.
Not planned at all, but,
Okay.
But back to the taxing, let me check the mechanics of the agreement and see how it works before, you know, I don't want to speak out of turn or say something that might not be contemplated in there.
If McLennan County's losing 14 total, and we're only gaining 6 back, are those 6 gonna be equivalent to those 14? That would be a
In
question.
value?
In value, yeah. That could be answered.
Again, I don't have the calculations in front of me, but I do know that the assessed value is 55% higher than the first project.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that compensates for the
Or the
loss.
losing the
I'd have
8,
to,
losing 8, yeah, thank you.
I'd have to run the math, but.
Okay, thanks.
Are you guys required to have any inspections after cleanup? Or is it just something that your company does and then we move on? I didn't know if TCEQ says we have to come in and survey the site, or is it just you clean up and move on?
I'm not aware of any regulatory requirements, but we do have some pretty sharp landowners that aren't gonna let us get away with, with leaving anything behind, so.
I know a couple of them there. You'll be watching.
What's the process like on getting that shattered fiberglass out of the soil?
Yeah, I mean, there's several things we do, all the way from the basic of guys out there with pickers just picking it out of the ground, right? I mean, hands across America, to the point of where we even have screeners that are fixed to machines. They go out there and actually screen the dirt to get it out. And we do several processes like that to make sure to get all that fiberglass out. And one thing I want to talk about with the fiberglass, it's benign. You know, you could put this material into the ground and leave it there for 1,000 years and it wouldn't affect the ground at all, on the fiberglass side. Not that we're going to leave it, but just want to let everyone know here that this isn't a hazardous component or, you know, anything that's going to hurt the ground in itself. We are going to clean it up, but, you know, it's not hazardous to the ground or to the area, so.
Okay. Any other questions?
The only other questions I have, how are we contacting the, like, City of Mart ISD or Axtell ISD when we're filling these? Are we contacting them, or?
there's a public
'Cause
announcement.
I'm getting a lot of phone calls. I'm sure some other people are too about it, so. you know.
We put out a public information announcement to the emergency districts here, in both counties. It's a kind of a stay, I've noticed it, I've looked at social media, I've seen a couple of volunteer fire departments are putting it up on their websites, or on their Facebook pages. I hope the word's getting out. I know when it first started, you know, and you might hear an explosion, you might see one falling if you're driving by.
You know, when we get close to the ones in Mart, that they're real close to the town and close to major thoroughfares and stuff like that. And it's more populated than some of the areas you're in now, so.
We're in, I'd like to say, close contact with the school district, the city manager / chief over there,
Yes.
Mr. James, I believe. In fact, we will likely do a sort of a public viewing in Mart, because as you say, summer's so close, there's interest. We want to invite TSTC out, school kids, and, you know, from quite a distance, like you were at the first one, Commissioner. You know, we're pretty far out, but to see how this works. So I hope we can do a small community ice cream supper kind of thing over there.
Yeah, we'll like that.
But welcome any, you know, input, you hear complaints, please let us know and help us do the best we can to communicate to the public.
Thank you.
All right, anything else? We appreciate y'all coming in and bringing a great.
Thank you very
thorough
much.
report. Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Judge.
See you. Man. Justin, we need any action on that, other, I guess, for recording purposes?
Yes, sir. Recording purposes is good.
All right, I'll make a motion, we accept that report for recording purposes.
Thank you.
Second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you. All right. let me put my notes here. All right, this time I'd like to go to item G12 and M4. So G12 is regarding the professional service agreement with H2O Partners Incorporated, authorizing amendment number 1, McLennan County Hazard Mitigation Plan. So Ryan, also while you're here, we'll talk about discussion and action regarding the order authorizing San Jacinto Day fireworks. That's M4. Morning.
Good morning, Judge Felton, Commissioners, good morning. On the fireworks, our office currently shows no issue why those can't proceed, at least at this point. Granted, it's a long way out, but what we're looking at now, no problems with the fireworks. The other item that is in front of you deals with the county's hazard mitigation plan. As you're well aware, we've been undergoing this with the contractor for the better part of the last year. The last phase of that project involves adoption by all of the city's city councils. So we've been making the rounds over the last several months, going to each of those city councils, answering questions to get the plan across the finish line. Essentially what has happened here is there's just a couple more jurisdictions left that, because of whatever the reason, their councils have had to delay, and we've just run a little bit late. So what the amendment in front of you says is it extends the terms of the contract through July, just to make sure that we get this thing over the line.
All right, any questions?
Makes sense.
So on, let's see.
Can we approve them together, Judge?
Yeah, looking for approval for G12 and M4.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion, second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass. Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
All right. Going to 01B, this is regarding construction manager at risk agreement with John W. Irvin General Contractors Incorporated, authorizing change order for building exterior re-skinning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, you want to start talking while I get set up? Sure. So you'll have before you this morning, a change order that we would like to get a court's approval on. The thought process is, as we're coming around the new Justice Center with the new brick facade, to carry that all the way across into the annex and around 6th Street to kind of complete the entire block, so to speak, so everything looks proportionate. So Kevin's gonna pull up and show you some of those numbers associated with the project, but this is something that we're excited about, definitely wanna see it take place. So we're here to kind of run through the numbers and field any questions.
Okay.
See if that'll take over. There we go. I'm not sure how to make it full screen, but hopefully everybody can kind of see it. So last fall, I think TJ and some folks approached us, and so we started looking at, what would it take to kind of take a look at the annex building, and there's also the connector bridge behind the courthouse that connects the annex to the historic courthouse. These are both 1950s construction. What would it take to basically replace the entire veneer on this building, as well as all the windows, doors, basically create a brand-new building envelope for this entire building that would kind of be, I guess, envisioned to be similar to what's going on in the new judicial center, so that basically that entire side of the project would have kind of a cohesive look to the entire facility, as well as address any issues with the old windows, waterproofing issues on the exterior envelope. I think the roof was replaced in the last 4 or 5 years, so it's got a relatively brand-new roof on top of the annex building, except you've got kind of this old 1950s exterior, aged exterior and window systems. And so we started looking at it. So here's kind of your 6th Street elevation of what that building looks like. Here's your alley elevation, coming down the alley where people come in. There's the door down on the first floor where everybody goes when they're coming for jury duty. Here's kind of continuing on down the alley a little bit. This is the other connector bridge that was constructed back in the 1950s when they originally built the annex building. So that was another element of the project that we looked at from a scope perspective. Here's kind of our side, or the Columbus Avenue side. You can see the new Judicial Center construction in the foreground. The annex building actually goes behind. There's a small 6-8 foot wide notch between the two buildings. So the envelope of the building actually continues of the annex and dies kind of into the corner there at our new construction where we abut it. So kind of the scope of work that we looked at, so basically all elevations of the annex building as well as what can be done to kind of upgrade the existing connector bridge from the annex to the existing courthouse. And so when we started looking at that, what does that mean? So we started looking at, it's obviously a combination of the majority of your veneer on the annex building is brick. You've got all the windows that you see there that are kind of light green, light blue. There's aluminum storefront entrances. There's also some granite and other stones that make up portions of the exterior envelope of the existing annex building. So we started looking at all those elements. I think the thought at the time was replacing it with a limestone veneer system similar to the limestones that are being employed on the new Judicial Center construction. And then we looked at the bridge. So the other existing element coming off the back of the courthouse that ties the courthouse to the old jail or the new Judicial Center up on the third floor, that's also being reclad as part of the Judicial Center project. And it's a combination of some stone base and mostly metal panel systems that kind of make up the new envelope for that small bridge. So when we looked at the new, this is the 1950s drawings. This is kind of your bridge in section view. So it's basically made up of concrete construction. You've got the old metal windows and glass, and then kind of concrete roof, and it has a roof on it. So when we looked at this scope of work, we would reclad it similarly with metal panel systems to match what's being done on the Judicial Center, new aluminum storefront windows to match the window systems that are going in. I think we even budgeted replacing the roof, and then I think we looked at upgrading or actually installing new HVAC systems that would kind of match the HVAC systems that we're doing in the Judicial Center to kind of take care of the bridge itself. So that was kind of the scope of work, if you will, that we looked at as far as from a budgeting standpoint and what it would take to accomplish that, if that makes sense. And so kind of what does that mean when we looked at it from a budget perspective? Basically all those scopes, we broke it down into two pieces. We kind of looked at, like we talked about, the annex building itself. Obviously we've got the existing brick and stone and all the windows to remove. Got new aluminum storefront windows. We got new aluminum and glass doors and entrance hardware at your building entrance at various locations. There's a handful of exterior hollow metal doors, frames, and hardware at some of your pop-outs on your roof for maintenance access where those doors would need to be replaced. We looked at basically all new exterior stone cladding veneer, like I said, similar to the new project we're working on currently. And then we also looked at addressing, we will have to, even though it's a brand new roof, we will have to make sure we properly tie into it around the complete perimeter at the roof level. So we went and took a look at that scope of work as well. And then kind of with the bridge, like we talked about, we basically take out the old windows. We'd come in with cold form metal framing and sheathing, similar to the construction of like the new elements on the Judicial Center project. Come in with new flashings, air and water barriers. We'd put in new aluminum storefront windows to match the balance of the windows that we're currently putting in or will be putting in on the Judicial Center. They would then also match the windows that we would propose to put into the annex building. And then clad the framing and things with some combination of aluminum composite metal panels, which going on the Judicial Center. We looked at replacing the roof on top of the bridge, and then we looked at some new HVAC systems, combination of chilled water fan coil units, which those are the mechanical systems that we're putting in the new judicial center project. So kind of when we looked at that from a budget standpoint of what we thought it would take to accomplish that work, we're looking at about $4.385 million, basically to reclad that entire annex building. This would be done in phases. When we looked at the work, we would probably come in and even the removal of the existing materials will most likely be done in phases by elevation, where we'd come in one time on one elevation, remove the brick and or stone. To keep the building operational, we would probably incrementally replace the windows down the road at a later date, so we could kind of minimize disruption to the building occupants, then kind of put the new stone systems back on and kind of do that in an incremental phase, working our way around the building and the bridge. And so kind of from a, like I said, from a construction cost estimate, we looked at this total project being about $4.385 million. If you want to look at the two projects, an approximate breakout, it's about a little over $3.5 million for just the annex building alone. And then there's about $840,000 dedicated to kind of the envelope system of the new bridge, if that kind of makes sense. So those are the dollar figures that we're talking about constructively to make this, make that project happen. I think another thing that I think TJ wanted me to share with the court, and so just so the commissioners have kind of a snapshot of where we're at budget-wise on the Judicial Center project. So we currently have a contract amount, as you recall, from the three different IGMPs that we did. We currently have a guaranteed maximum cost of $57,501,444, dollars, basically the $57 million project. That's our current project budget. Just to know how we're doing from a project budget standpoint. Currently, in our GMP, we had a CMR contingency line item of just a little over $1 million. We have used some portion of that contingency as we've progressed with the work and bid and purchased the work. The design team also had a contingency at the time we did the GMP of about $1.3 million, a little over $1.3 million. The design teams also used some contingency as they've refined things during the construction process in their design. So kind of what does that mean from a funding standpoint? So we currently, these are our current status of uncommitted, either call it contingency funds, or we also have built into our GMP, so when we go bid and buy the work, we basically had an estimated value for all the various scopes of work, for the concrete work, for the steel work, for the window work. We have all these different estimates of costs when we actually go bid and then award the work and actually award subcontracts. Any remaining funds in our terminology would be uncommitted funds or buyout funds balance. When we go bid and purchase the work, if there's any remaining funds from our estimated value for, say, the concrete work, if we bid it out at $1 million, if we have a budget of $1 million for the concrete work, and I'm just talking hypothetical, we go bid the work to the various subcontractors, we then actually award the work for an initial subcontract of $800,000, i.e. we have $200,000 left over because we did better than what our estimate was. We call that a buyout funds balance that we just basically have in reserve, if you will, throughout the project. And so currently, we're sitting on a uncommitted buyout funds balance of about $1.9 million. We currently have a contingency budget balance of a little over $820,000. And then we have a design contingency budget balance of a little over $680,000. So all being told, we have an uncommitted, just call it funds balance of about $3.4 million. There are several scopes of work that we have yet to bid that are at the very end of the project and award. So there is some dollars that are set aside in that $3.4 million for actual work that we still have yet to purchase. Some of it is we've bid it, we haven't necessarily awarded it because we're still messing with what the right materials are. The wood flooring in the judge's offices, we have not, physically totally secured the purchase of that work just yet. We're working through, we've got budgets, we've got bids, but we're working through with the design team on the final material selection. There's a pretty good sizable striping package and street signage package that we have not bid out yet. Basically, it's like when we're done with Columbus Avenue, that hall has to get properly restriped. Major portions of Fifth Street will have to get restriped and re-signed. So there's a work package sitting out there that we just haven't physically bid yet, just because we don't know the entire scope yet. So we're working with the civil engineer to identify what the proper scope is. So there's 2 or 3 of those type packages. The security gate and an operable gate system that secures the judge's parking area. The design team is still trying to finalize their design for that entire secure perimeter of that parking area, so that work's still undefined. So again, those are another package that we have to eventually go bid out and purchase. So some of that money is actually, it's set aside for something that we haven't purchased yet on the project, if that makes sense. But just to give you a snapshot of where the project sits financially. And I think some of the discussions have been, if it's okay to talk about the furniture, some of the discussions going into this, you know, were set up that we could, the idea was that we would have the funding available to pay for, call it, the county's furniture and basically all the furniture that would outfit this entire facility from the project budget. That's in the process of being finalized right now between the design team and the furniture vendor. I think we're thinking that package, just for reference, I think their initial budget was about, or cost for the furniture package as designed currently was about $1.2 million. They're making some tweaks. There were some things they had in it that weren't supposed to be in the scope that they're removing, and there was one element of some high-density storage that was supposed to be in that package that was not included. So they're making those corrections and adjustments right now. So hopefully in a few weeks, the furniture vendor will get back and we can start to hone in on what the final cost of that furniture package are, so.
Does that include benches and?
Yeah, so our base scope of work right now for the courtroom spaces, we've already got the bench seating or the pew, the bench seating that's on all the courtroom spaces is separate from the furniture package. That was one of the things when they did their initial budget here about 2 weeks ago. We basically had it double covered. They included it as well. It was already included in our scope of work. So when we met with them, I think that was a week and a half ago, we made that comment to them. They're currently pulling that out.
Judges benches also too?
Yeah, anything in the courtroom itself, so all the.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
This,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, all the built-in, the judge's bench for the railings, the railing that separates the well area from the visitor seating area, all the railings associated with the jury boxes, basically all the column cladding in the courtrooms, all the millwork and stone that backs the courtroom and transitions into the ceiling, all of that is currently part of our scope of work
So
currently
this
in the
would be
judicial center.
primarily the furniture that's in all the different offices and administrative and judges' offices and all of that.
chairs and things like
Yeah,
that, right?
all of
Ash
that,
chairs,
bottom.
desks, storage solutions for the high-density shelving down in the basement and on level 1 at the district court's office, correct.
Anything that's not attached, essentially.
That's correct. All the non-built-in items, correct.
But all your built-ins have been,
They are completely covered in our $57 million project cost right now, yes. So, I don't know if there's some other things that you want
No,
to talk about,
so,
DJ.
I mean, with all that being said, the hope is, let's hold that contingency because we are so early in the project and we know we want to utilize some of those funds for the furniture package. And let's go ahead and supplement the project, take care of this change order. So I think Francis has looked, I don't know if you want to talk about where you're thinking the
Sure,
funds.
so, today this is presented to you in total is that 4.4 million for the annex and the bridge. And so, if that is approved, then we would allocate that portion out of bond funds. That would be the place that would need to come from. Currently, we have about 24.4 million in unallocated bond funds. And so, of course, allocated being things that you have formally approved and we have set a budget for. And so I know there's been a lot of conversations about other road projects and, of course, the later phases in this project. And so those would need to be absorbed into that unallocated amount. But But that's how we would navigate this if approved. We would bring forward a budget amendment to formally allocate those unallocated funds to these projects.
This be going on, while you're putting on the, what's the timing of this?
So that's why we wanted to get in front of you guys, because the timing of it is completely crucial. So we really want to start, you know, in that showpiece, the new lobby entrance, and go ahead and get that stone removed from the alley side. That way, when we carry on, because we're going to be working from Columbus all the way around to the alley with the new stone, we want to be able to keep going. So it's going to fit right in timeline. I think, you know, we're wanting to start the demolition really, really soon, like ASAP. Of at least that section, and then we can carry on a little bit later down the line with some of the other stuff.
I think so. You kind of answered your question, Commissioner Jones. So so here we back on the Columbus side. So this building element is where we're starting the new stone cladding. We intend to start that end of April, 1st of May. Material will start showing up from the various stone suppliers. And we will start working our way around the building kind of in this clockwise manner, basically where we would then, our new work would then come around. This little element of the building tucked in behind the bridge would be the last of our new stone that's erected. I think we're projecting that to happen this fall. We basically start in late April, early May, get ourselves all the way around this fall. And then ideally, if it would work out ideally, we would then kind of continue on and then work the annex building, just continue that same clockwise motion, I think.
That little upside down L wouldn't be, you're not, from looking at the drawings, it's not gonna be,
It wasn't included in our current scope. Basically,
is that right?
we kind of tied into the elevation of it, if you will, right here. At the-
Okay, actually, it is. I'm wrong, so I just mislooked. But, so my next question is, like, it's gonna be kind of disruptive to those offices
Yeah,
in that,
I wondered about that.
of the annex. I mean, you know, phase that as best you can.
Yeah, we'll have to phase it and time it just right, and these guys are always willing to work with us. So it may be some weekend work or a holiday when we try to get it knocked out the best we can. The intent is to go ahead and remove all the stone, but leave the window systems. That way we're dried in, we continue to be dried in, and then come back with some waterproofing and continue on with the stone.
That public access is on the annex, is on the 6th Street side, so, and that's really the only public access there is.
But that's employee access only.
That's
The
employee
DA's
access.
office. The thing we'd have to worry about the most
We'd
is
have
the
to worry
ADA
about getting in and out while
on the alley.
demo and all that.
When we're working this elevation, I think like TJ's saying, I think that has to be Saturday weekend work so that we can get out past this public entrance here, get the material down, get it cleaned up and reopened for the following week. We're just gonna have to be super careful with. We won't be able to do this during the weekday, when people are trying to physically access the annex building.
Would we do away with the old exhaust systems?
We will, the old HVAC systems. So right now, we're only utilizing 3 of those units, and they're for the file storage that we have on the 5th floor. So the intent would be to do away with those, and we put in a roof-mounted unit that would feed that space.
Well, it makes good sense, dollars-wise, if that's a project that we're gonna do, to do it while the boots are on the ground.
Yeah.
There's a real value added there to continuing the work while the equipment's there and the people are there.
Absolutely, and we were gonna have to do it in the next 4 to 5 years regardless, just because the state that the building's in currently. Plus, it allows us to continue through those cut tickets on the stone. That way we have a good color
Right.
consistency coming around.
Well, I thought that's what we picked all the rock and the color out and the stone out to match what we have now. Did we not do that?
Well, he's just talking about the time difference if we were to wait to do this project.
Different part of the quarry.
Because it comes from a different part of the quarry, you want to make sure it matches going all the way around.
What are we gonna do? Put curtains on Fifth Street side? Are we not gonna fix Fifth Street side if we're gonna try to fix this?
Oh, no, this is the whole building.
The whole thing.
The dollars we're talking about,
You talking about the other buildings.
Talking about facing Fifth Street.
You just have to look at it and.
Well, it's covered up. Most of the facing Fifth Street is,
Understand.
You know, I'm talking about the old buildings with the old glass that IT was building.
Oh, you're talking about my building?
TJ's building, you're talking about TJ's building.
I'm saying,
I don't think that gets.
we're gonna do all this, I mean, we're gonna lose this ugly sister over here on Fifth Street. That's, to me, I don't know where this came from, where we're trying to match it. I understand, say I know the windows are important and the roof's important, but, and that's a lot of money just to, to surface the outside of the building. I thought that was the whole purpose of us picking the stone to match the brick that's existing on this building now. That's, I know it could be considered ugly, but I think it's a beautiful building. It could definitely need some touch up, with the, with the windows and things like that. Is that an option we could do? Just repair the windows and roof and get the exhaust off the 6th floor?
It is an option. I mean, it definitely is. So the thing we need to consider is the stone for the Justice Center was matched closer with the courthouse itself, not the annex. So we lost that yellowy color, we lost that nicotine, we went with more of a whitish limestone color. So it's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. But the building.
I've, in my personal business, I've painted a lot of beautiful brick buildings now with some high-quality paint that would, could match. I mean, is that a possibility, or?
I mean, it's definitely always a possibility.
I'm just asking.
Do we have the same problem with that building that we had with the old jail with no water barrier between?
You'd have to take them apart.
Yeah, I'm not 100%
We believe we do, except our budgeting accounts for putting it back as part of this process.
Sure.
Whereas when we were doing original estimating for the jail.
Didn't know that.
Way back, we hadn't accounted for it
Didn't know it was till you tore it off.
Later in the project, we had to incorporate it before we
So
went
this
to.
probably has that same.
So you're gonna pull the brick off. You're not going on
Yeah,
top of the brick.
so I mean, that's.
Brick comes off, that way we can
Lot of work.
totally, because of your new window systems and your skin system, we can basically re-waterproof that entire envelope. You replaced your roof about 5 years ago.
Are you having water issue, TJ, now, anywhere in the building?
We do. We have some infiltration, at least on the Columbus side. That's the north-facing wall. That's where it gathers all the moisture. And of course, it's all plaster work in there, so it's starting to deteriorate. It gets soft and spongy on you. So there'll be, there's definitely some warrant to go ahead and getting the waterproofing done on top of it.
You say re-waterproof, it probably just waterproof, period.
Probably
because
just
it
waterproof.
it wasn't done the first time.
Right.
I don't think back then that was.
I don't think it was.
No.
They flashed their windows
About
and
it.
flashed their doors, but they really didn't think about they didn't think about water being drawn through the,
Yeah.
through the brick, through the interior wall systems. Which a lot of that's because of the modern HVAC equipment. It's got, they're bringing in air, so it's actually puts a negative pressure on your building envelope, which I don't think in the 1950s they necessarily.
TJ, you mentioned 7 years, 6, 7 years, 8 years from now, that's gonna have to be dealt with anyway.
Probably sooner.
I've noted before that it looks like it needed to be repointed anyway. So us doing this is just, we're carrying on with a system that's already occurring, and joining in, where if we wait, then we're gonna have to pay. And also, we have to be careful of when we start working in the alley and finishing it out, if we're having to remove anything, we could be damaging work there. So,
Yeah, some of the discussions too related to the annex building were like what Ken was just talking about. So this whole area becomes your new public plaza. If everybody remembers, there's a big public seating area backside of the historic courthouse that leads you into, right off the entrance into the new judicial center project. So the thought is, especially if we're gonna do something as, intrusive as removing the veneer systems before we start putting brick pavers and light fixtures and making the public spaces, bringing that to life, now would be the time if it was to consider doing this work. And so those are all the discussions we had with TJ and his
This
folks.
truly is the new focal point. I mean, for
Yeah.
pedestrians coming in on both sides, 5th and 6th, this is what they're gonna see. So, I mean, we definitely want it nice, but Commissioner Wilson, I do agree, we need to do something with the plaster building, purchasing and maintenance building, but that's That's easily paintable. It's painted now, so I think the renderings that you've seen in the past have the new trim color, new paint color on the walls. I think we could definitely pull that off fairly easy.
I think we ought to move forward with the concept, what points everyone made about already being on the site. It's gonna have to be done anyway. Future courts will criticize current courts for not doing it, you know. And so we're gonna have to tolerate construction, but we're already doing that right now.
Right.
And so we're all familiar with those complaints, especially up and down the streets around around us. So
We would like to point out that's Atmos gas. Just want to correct the record.
That's not us. That's
Yeah.
not us.
They've even got my alternate parking.
well, so it would be, I guess, Francis, come back with a more exact way how we would pay for it. How much would be, I agree, leave the contingency intact where it is right now, just in case. It's like a,
But in the end, if we go ahead and allocate the bond money, but in the end, don't use all the contingency, it can go back toward that.
so,
Is that correct?
well,
So what usually happens, you'll see sometimes, is we'll bring a budget amendment to you, and it'll be moving from a project back into the unallocated of the bond. So
Okay.
yes, when a project's complete, we clean it out to the penny and then move that back up.
so if you look at the balance sheet, the debt is, over here, the debt's gonna be, let's say, $3 million less that we didn't have to pay interest on the bonds. And then the new project, or the extended project, would be, a new debt. But if it all balances out.
It all balances.
Yeah, but the safe thing would leave the contingency available for contingencies.
Right.
Like it was intended. And don't assume now that it's gonna cover.
Well, my biggest concern were the FFEs, and that was answered. I didn't want us to have an empty building and couldn't afford to put anything in it. But
Yeah.
that's all been answered in my mind. And certainly the value saved on continuing the work if it's gonna have to be done. I can't imagine people being happy with us if in 4 years after we get everything cleaned up and the streets open and everyone around there is happy now, and then come back and say, oh, by the way, we've got to shut it all down again. Let's come
Well,
back and start over.
and the point, you're exactly right, and TJ made a good point, or Kevin did too, is all of it, the attention we're gonna give to that public space area. You know, we're gonna put some features in there that aren't there now, that would be, something pleasant for people to look at and those kind of things. Relaxing area, not only for general public, but for employees to use. And to go in there and start tearing down stuff right on top of it after we put it in is gonna be an issue, and
There's a lot of questions why, a lot
Your
of questions.
statue's gonna be in there.
It'll only be that high. So,
I don't have a problem with it, Judge.
okay. So this will blend into our budget talks that are already in motion right now, so.
Makes good dollar sense to do it, even though it's more.
Any other comments? Well, we appreciate, the report, and,
What is your guys' timeline? Did y'all just need to hear from us that we're supportive of it, or before you start planning and?
Yeah, I think that allows us to plan, and then you can we can coordinate with TJ.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, go
we'll
ahead.
probably go from here. We'll put it in an official change order fashion and get with Francis for funding wise for the budget amendment and then move forward hopefully next quarter.
good deal.
Some of us only have 9 months left.
We're gonna get it in quick now.
Quick. All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
No action needed, recording or anything, Dustin, or anything?
I think we ought to.
Yeah, let's
we ought
acknowledge
to
it.
have a record vote of it.
Yeah, let's acknowledge that we listened to it, so, I would make a motion that we approve the report for recording purposes, unless we need to be more specific. Dustin, what do you think?
Judge, I think if the court's in agreeance with it, I think if we go ahead and make a motion to move forward, and then we'll bring back a formal change order and the required budget amendment next court session. That's okay.
Yeah, okay.
Motion to move forward with the proposal?
Second.
Oh, okay. That was my motion.
And it come back to court with final approval.
That's good.
All right? Commissioner Jones, second. Any other discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right, so Dustin, I guess we go to the top of the agenda?
Yes, sir. We can go back to the consent agenda, Judge.
Yeah. All right.
And we, go ahead, sorry.
Well, there's two recommended pulls on the consent agenda. E3A, it's a HR matter with Sheriff's Office, and E3B, which is HR matter for JPs. So is there any other recommended pulls? If there's no other recommended pulls, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of those previously mentioned pulls?
So move. Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass. Thank you. All right, going to E3A, HR matter with Sheriff's Office. There's a pull with no action on that one. So go to item E3B, HR matter for JPs.
I think there will be an action needed on E3A.
Okay,
But Judge Hensley's here now, so we can work on E3B.
all right, let's go to E3B if we need to come back. I just had in my notes to pull it with no action, but.
Okay.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
So I have your request prompted by Justice Hensley, and the request is for a new position, a death investigator position. And it also includes a request to establish an office of investigator. And so attached to the request is an order establishing that office and the position. And I believe you were provided an updated order just this morning. The previous order that was included in the agenda, just to clarify, that comes later. We kind of jumped ahead there. If the position's approved and a person is selected, at that point, an appointment request will come before the court. So that was the additional information that was included. We don't need to look at right now. So the position request is intended to help respond and support the inquests that are currently under the responsibility of the JPs. There has been consistent volume in these inquests over the past several years. However, the civil and criminal cases added in the last 5 years displays an increase of 62% across precincts, one place 2, 2, and 4. And so this increased workload is having to be balanced with all of the inquests that come into the office as well. And so JP Hensley can provide more context for the court.
We kind of reached the place where it's almost impossible to do all this middle of the night stuff and the paperwork that has to be done during the day and keep the busiest docket in the county. So I'm looking for somebody to be a death investigator, and we've kind of talked about it. I think they would fall in the waiting to be engaged category, is that right?
Engaged to wait.
Engaged.
And so the request is that it be a full-time position, 40-hour-a-week schedule. The likelihood of having to work outside of that schedule, of course, depends on the inquests that come in, and that there may be a need for compensatory time outside of the 40-hour schedule. But ultimately, having this person on call, the likelihood of sleep being interrupted, they're restricted to a geographical area, so they can't go about their personal life as normal. So we would categorize this as an engaged to wait position, warranting that 40-hour schedule where we know during this schedule, they're going to be called upon and are going to be on duty throughout that schedule. And then not just for the inquest, but as Justice Hensley says, they're going to be doing the paperwork associated with that as well.
Anna, move that microphone a little closer to your face, please. Thank you.
I have a question I'm not clear on. If they're scheduled to work 40 hours, that doesn't cover all the on-time time. And it appears to me it would make more sense to do it on a waiting to be engaged basis with a minimum guaranteed and a pay by hour maybe, because what I really need is somebody to be on call overnight, basically. And there's, 84, if you assume a 12-hour overnight, there's 84 hours in a week, but our average death is 7 or 8 in a week. So that would be 14 to 16 hours out, and then usually another hour to 4 or 5, depending on whether you're talking about a natural death or a murder. There's a lot more time on it. They probably would get close to 40 hours some weeks, and other weeks they might be, if you had nothing but natural deaths all week, you might only have 15 hours actual work time, and including an hour for paperwork. If it's a natural death and everybody already got a funeral home and it goes, you may have only an hour of extra work other than the on-scene time. So but to be helpful to me, I need somebody to be on call every day.
And so I think in reality, the need sounds like 2 positions. And so in discussions with Justice Hensley, I think this position, initial position, really there's going to be a close monitoring and tracking of the volume to see if there was either a redesign needed of the position or an additional position would be needed.
Yeah.
Stage into or step into it,
Exactly.
kind of see what we need. But also, what about the fact of, let's say, JP 1 and 2 get priority, and then if one of the other JPs has an issue that they can't get to, then they could cover that inquest as well. I don't know.
Exactly. It's like, so these weeks where you're saying there might be only the natural
Yeah.
deaths being covered, those would be weeks where then, okay, is support going to be able to be offered to the other JPs?
And then if that's the case, who manages that? In other words, so.
Me.
The boss, to ensure priority. So I understand.
Yeah. The way I have it here written is, just because of the volume that JP Place 1 and Place 2 have, they're going to be priority and primarily served there. But if volume permits, support may be offered to other precincts on an as-needed basis and availability basis.
Okay. Questions?
Yeah. And Judge, what did you call it, the type of employment?
Well, if one is waiting to be engaged.
Waiting to be engaged.
You don't have to be paid for your hours of waiting unless you are engaged.
It makes more sense to start that way, and if needed, work that way than it would be to work that way and it not be needed and go back to waiting to be engaged. To my mind, it makes more sense to do what you're saying to start off.
The only problem that I see with it, and this is a lot more her domain than mine, so she may have somebody else working this way, is that how do you set the pay to give somebody enough to make it worthwhile to them?
We'll have to look at, something we have
When
to look
you're
at.
on a totally on-call basis. If you made it where somebody was covering the whole county, you would have 10 deaths a week would be your average, I think, and it would be less of a time issue, but it's so much more travel time than just covering precinct 1.
How many more counties our size or have these death investigators?
Brazos County, Lubbock County, and Webb County have death investigator positions.
Do they cover the whole county?
Williamson County has
Well,
them
that's a little,
too.
Williamson, we're not even close to them as far as size. So what Or are they covering the whole county?
Brazos County, they're kind of beginning their Office of Investigations, and they seem to be starting off with 3 positions, and they do look like they're full-time positions. And so I don't have that specific answer. Because there's 3, I would think it's the entire county, but I don't have that confirmed.
And I talked to Judge Peters in Brazos County before, and he's willing to share information on how it's going. They're creating a whole new.
Does Texas law dictate the qualifications for that position? How are the qualifications? I mean, we're talking about a law enforcement person?
You have to have
Judge
permission.
does it now, so.
Yeah, I mean, do
it
they have to
wouldn't
have the
require
same
a TCO
qualification? Do you have to get training?
There's training available, and the way Anna had written it was that they would get themselves certified within 2 years of being hired.
Certified by whom?
There's 2 different organizations at least that certify. Baylor actually has a forensic death investigator program over there.
Right.
I've been told the best one in the country is at St. Louis Medical School, and it's $800 for a 40-hour week of training, which I wish somebody sent me to now that I know it exists. But there's at least those 2. I think there's a 3rd person that certifies them. And we had kind of narrowed down a background as being either a law enforcement background, a medical background, a funeral director background. The person that I've actually talked to see if they'd be interested owned a mortuary business for 35 years, and so has a great deal of experience.
I wouldn't believe so, not on criminal investigations.
Well, you have to remember, though, the criminal part of it is, at least where we are now, is always law
I
enforcement.
think we need to look at redistricting the JP sizes. I think that makes more sense than getting an investigator for death in McLennan County.
So,
How are you going to allocate the
I don't
hospitals?
know. I mean, that's something we need to talk about, because I think we're going down the wrong path on that, so.
Just to that point, and which is why HR put in the note that, it would, when available, support all of the JPs. The redistricting wouldn't change the number of inquests. And so we believe that support would likely still be needed.
And Commissioner Smith, back to your point, sorry for interrupting, but the qualifications they're spelled out in the statute. It's a little vague, but basically it's just demonstrated experience or training in investigative procedures concerning the circumstances, manner, and cause of death. And then we have in the order that additional training required by the county.
Yeah.
Make that as well.
That's a Texas statute?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I saw it in this sheet, but I wasn't sure.
I support this 100%. The question is, at how much do I support it? 1, 2, how do we work that out? The pay piece, there's a couple of, I want this to work, but
Yeah.
I've got a couple of areas that I'm like, all right, we need to shore up a little bit on how we're gonna engage these people, how they're gonna be paid.
I've talked to probably half a dozen death investigators now that work, all of them in a different situation. The Williamson County I visited with quite a while, but they're about 3 times our size, and their deaths are running a little bit more than 3 times ours. So they have 3 right now. They're trying to fill a 4th position. They're on call 1 week a month, and then plus they do paperwork and stuff on the week that they're not on the on-call. But that's more people than we need here, obviously. Right now, I think most of the JP precincts, Precinct 1, last year was the lowest number of deaths we've ever had in Precinct 1 in the 11 years I've been here. And I believe it was 367 between the 2 of us. We've averaged I'll be 190 one year and 205 one year. And so it's averaged right around 200 deaths a year each for Judge Peterson and myself, so 400 for the precinct. And we're so high because we have both hospitals, and probably 75% of the senior living situations are within Precinct 1. And then the next highest would be Precinct 4. And a lot of the building, as you know, is going on in Precinct 1 and then in Precinct 4. So his population's picking up. But he's also been the best person for backing up Judge Peterson and myself, that if one of us couldn't get there, Judge Richardson. So he did, I think, 80, give or take. But about 20 of them were actually Precinct 1 deaths that he picked up for us. But he's definitely the next one after us. And then the others are more like 30 deaths a year. So they're a lot more manageable. There was one other thing mentioned to me, but I didn't have time to follow up on it. But there is a forensic pathology service that contracts with counties to go. I don't know anything about it except that it exists. The lady from Williamson County mentioned it to me yesterday, so I hadn't had time to follow up on it. I would think in the long run that would probably be more expensive than putting somebody on salary, but it's another thing that's out there. There's the death investigators, the majority of them that I've run across don't do scene work. They're just tracking down hospital records and medical history and stuff for medical examiners. So like American Forensic and SWIFT both have investigators that it's all paperwork they're doing, and they round up the police report and that sort of thing, just pull it all together for the coroner. So they get paid differently than the ones that I've talked to that are working for a county where they're actually doing the on-scene and they're gathering, all the information on scene and making sure they've got the criminal case number and that they know who's got the evidence, whether it went with them or if the police still have it, or, they're doing the actual on-scene work.
Which is what this position would need.
This is what we need here is.
We do the complete package, so.
Yes. The paperwork and the on-scene.
Yeah, on-site and the paperwork to follow, same person.
Yeah, and she.
Commissioner Perry, I think one of the things to answer your question, I agree with you, and maybe in this stepping in process of gradually, starting out with a smaller goal in mind and expand it as needed might be the more appropriate thing. But if we do it fairly quickly, by the time we get into the budget, we might have enough information to know what more we need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, we need to decide which one of the two options, and I like the judge's suggestion to start with, but based on that, then we need more information from you on a base salary or hourly, mileage, how all that's going to work for that person. And I assume that the other
We have
judges
6
will understand they're still going to
JPs.
continue.
Why can't we just divide it up between the 6 JPs and work it out that way?
Because they're elected officials and they choose what they want to do or don't want to do.
I got that.
They don't.
That is the big
I
deal.
promise you, I have
in a perfect
suggested it
world.
through the years that we
I haven't
do
been
a
here.
rotation.
I haven't been here for the years. So.
But I haven't
I mean,
gotten any takers.
I agree that 6 JPs should be able to do this job. That's what your duties are. So I don't understand why you can't work it out.
I don't either. I agree with you.
Well, 3 of us have, and the other 3 have not.
I got that. I understand that.
So if it was a full-time position, again, that salary is $65,409. That's the HR recommendation. If you were to whittle that down to a part-time position, we're talking about a $35 an hour wage. However, that may not be sufficient
Yeah.
to incentivize
It-
somebody
it's-
being on call overnight.
Right, it's kind of like someone working in emergency management. There's not an emergency going on all the time.
Right.
You're waiting on an emergency. And so you have to you need to pay them to be ready for the emergency, and so
And-
that's a little bit like this.
And most emergency response, like firefighters, they work in a similar
Yeah.
engaged to wait fashion, so
And it's
they're
wide
paid.
open when
Right.
the problem happens, so.
And so that was what we based it on, so it made more sense to treat it as a full-time position.
Yeah, and I think if somebody's dedicated to doing that, they're gonna be able to look and figure out how to be, they have the ability to be efficient in regards to, I can hit these 3 spots all in one pass, there's 2 hospitals and 1 home, natural cause deaths and those kind of things, and, you know.
And then if that were the position that was approved, then some of this thing like either more equipment, the education or certification, and the mile reimbursement items, we can bring
it.
back during budget with a better picture of what long-term needs are needed.
Yeah, and we've already got policies for all those things, so we just apply them. And, there's, around this, we'll all learn from it, and, but I can tell you the whole court agrees with what you just said, that there ought to be enough. But I know firsthand about precinct 1, JP 1, 2, that it's a majority of it, and that's where the help's needed.
Have we looked at maybe a constable deputy doing this position? That's already
It could-
employed by McLennan County?
No, we haven't.
I mean, that's,
If they're elected,
That's up to the constable's office whether or not.
And after, you and I talked recently, and I asked, our district attorney if he'd ever heard of anybody running something out of the DA's office similar to that. And he was gonna do a little bit of looking into it, but I haven't heard back.
yeah, I'm just wondering, yeah.
I just don't think we need a new position. A new position's not the way to go. I think we need to look in-house. If the JPs aren't gonna work together and make this work for McLennan County and the taxpayers in McLennan County, it needs to come from somewhere else besides a new position. That's where I stand at it.
But we have to have help regardless.
Sure,
Yes,
we do.
we have to have
That's,
help.
that's the,
Yeah, we gotta have help. I understand that.
I will tell you, legally, the JP can appoint anybody they want to assist them. And Shannon has told me, that she would go if I was in a bind, but she's not trained, and at this point, I haven't felt like that was a fair thing to do, because she's got to come be at work the next day.
It's a 5 Monday through
Yeah,
Friday.
it'd be the
Right,
same issue.
that's not, but as, it's certainly feasible to work with somebody, because we can appoint anybody we feel qualified to help us.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody would want to, if we paid them, overtime salary of going to a call like that, people would probably be interested in that in all JP offices.
Well, I know that one of the JPs has someone in his office handling it. I don't know if there's any financial arrangement with it or not. I just know I have run
Yes, ma'am.
into said person at a death.
And they're trained?
I can't speak to
Okay.
that.
Are they doing the paperwork,
I
signing
mean,
off?
the $800 class was.
Well, the
that's awesome.
JP ultimately has to
The
sign off.
JP ultimately will sign it regardless of
and-
who does the.
And, well, the way that Anna had set it up, and I thought she did a real good job for a first pass, just for the record, I thought she did a real good job, was that they have to, if someone's going in my place, that they have to give me a written report within 8 hours. And I would anticipate going out with somebody several times till I'm sure they know what I'm looking for. And the trickiest thing is ordering an autopsy, whether you need an autopsy. And that's why I would want to go out with somebody for a while so they knew kind of how I look at it. And certainly I would tell anybody, if in doubt, call me. Or if you're called to a mass murder scene, call me. We'll both go. But for the routine stuff, it'd sure be nice to not be awakened every night.
Well, I appreciate you mentioning the $800 class. That, to me, everybody needs to go to that. If elected JPs need to go to that, especially in McLennan County, if we can offer that opportunity to folks.
The Justice Court Training Center gives us some training, but not that intensive. And I didn't even know it existed until I started looking into
And
it.
I'm sure there's some around too, that's not just that one, but I know that's there, I've heard of that, and it's a really good place.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, even if you had all the JPs doing it, you still have an imbalance of the two hospitals being located where they are and getting most of the calls, so I just don't know that parceling it out
Well, that's just-
among all 6 JPs.
But that's been like it used to be when JPs would go to the jail, they'd take a rotation to go to the jail, and now we've had to hire somebody to go to the
But
jail.
you're not gonna ask a JP that lives way up in one end of the county to come all the way down to the other end of the county and having people wait on them to get there. I don't.
Well, I've waited on JPs for hours.
I was trying to say, that's what's going on now. If
I've
I go
waited
to
on
March,
JPs for
I
hours.
know, you're having to do it.
it's 45 minutes.
You're having to do it.
By the
Because
time
we've
I,
got JPs that evidently won't do it, so. And they're elected officials, and I don't know how you convince them to do it.
That's a voter decision.
Yeah,
Yes,
well, they
sir.
keep- Obviously, doesn't bother the voters, they keep putting them in office.
Well, maybe they don't know.
Yeah, they certainly don't know about it.
As I look at the reporter in the back.
Actually, have press here today.
Okay, so what's the decision of the court?
I'd like to explore the option from the judge and Anna bring back some more information on how that would work.
And check with the DA and see what he found
Yeah,
out.
and go ahead and check with the DA on
He
if
could-
he's looked at,
if he
it
could-
coming out of his office.
If his investigators were trained.
I think we got more options. Check with employees that might want to do that, if we train them.
Right. Nevertheless, we'll have to budget any kind of additional compensation.
Sure,
so-
but I'm not ready to make any
It would be
decision on this
overtime.
today.
The
so.
investigators work their full schedule, so even if they were on a rotation, it would be some sort of
Sure.
compensatory.
Well, it should be, yeah.
time. And then,
I think so it's appropriate to defer till we get this rest of this
I don't have a
information.
problem deferring it as long as
But
we
not
bring back,
long.
continue
Yeah.
working, continue working
Well,
on
we
the
understand.
information.
We
But it's
understand.
obvious we gotta have a solution.
The
to it.
concept is approved, it's just how do we accomplish it?
yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we defer.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass. Any commissioners, if you have any questions or input, feel free to call the judge or Anna and give them your
Thank you.
ideas.
I
and all.
appreciate
We're
it.
looking
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
I've got court right now. so
All
I'm
right.
going down the
Sorry
hall.
we took so
Perfect
long.
timing.
All right, let's take a 5-minute recess.
Recording in progress.
Okay, let's call court back in session. Justin, you wanna pick up where we left off?
Good commercials.
Yes, sir. So Judge, we can go back to item E3A. This is the HR matter for the county sheriff, discussion and or action regarding jailer positions.
I have a request here from the sheriff's office to activate 10 jailer positions that are currently dollar placeholders. So just to provide some history, for fiscal year 2023, 20 jailer positions were reduced to this dollar placeholder status. And the purpose of that being that they be available for additional hires if both the jail and Jack Harwell Detention Facility became fully staffed. They are very close to that point. We actually have, and this is updated daily, so I had to, my team ran this morning. So they currently have 8 vacancies. However, because of time on the books, they can't fill these positions until April 15th is the soonest, but some of them are out till April 27th. And they have 6 candidates ready for hire that they're trying to hire as of March 23rd. And so that's where this request is coming in. Approving these additional slots is going to provide that flexibility to hire sooner. The sooner they hire, the less these candidates are waiting. The longer these candidates are left waiting, the more likely they're going to accept other job offers elsewhere. So the request here is to fully fund the jailer positions that are currently the dollar placeholder. And then there's a total amount here for just salary, but that amount is for, of course, a full year salary. We're halfway through the fiscal year. And so if they were to fully fill these positions, which again, this is a moving target, the amount more realistically is $257,090. And I believe that, the auditor's office has a way of funding that.
So, I mean, I think if approved, and like Anna mentioned, already being halfway through the year, I don't think we'd do a budget amendment immediately. We would just keep tabs on it, and then probably closer to end of year, move money if needed. But right now, it would be hard to know, and there's going to be some excess in that line as well that may be able to be used. But we can keep tabs on that and see how that's looking. But I imagine we will need some sort of budget amendment, maybe end of year, but just unsure of what that may be right now.
So then, okay, and I've already asked the question, I think, so really, realistically, if this was a first of the year hire, this would be the amount, and they were all added, but we're losing people constantly and gaining people. So you're saying the net is likely to be about half of this, or is the net even going to be less?
So I think the 50% figure is just because we're halfway through the year. So if you approved it as of today, of course, we can't spend more than that percentage that's already complete. But like you said, there are vacancies through the year in all departments, and that's why now we budget a 96% factor so that we're not over budgeting and overtaxing for the funds that we know are not going to be spent. And we'll revisit that percentage each year. And I know we hope for that percentage to grow because, positions are staying filled longer. But if does that answer your question?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
When I first saw this number, I had a little bit of a sticker shock. And then
That's a
after
full
visiting,
year.
we realized that.
Now you just have a half a sticker shock.
Now I got half a sticker, but I also realized that with vacancies, there's a lot of offsetting there that it's hard to come up with that hard number. But
Yes.
But when you're losing 8 a month, those salaries are dropping off the book. So,
Correct.
So
Hopefully, we're not losing 8 a month, but we
the
could.
average is about 8 a month vacancies, isn't it?
Hires. The hiring has been on average 8 a month.
I mean, if you're hiring, that tells me somebody's leaving.
They're leaving for one reason or another.
Yeah, one reason or another.
Anna, can you explain to the court and to me and to the public, why can we not, is it a federal requirement that we can't hire until they're off the books?
It's a budgeting restriction, and Francis can
So
probably.
you've budgeted like a whole year for each position, and so if you have overlap, you know, someone's exhausting their PTO they had built up, plus hiring someone, you're exceeding the budget for that position, and so we want to make sure that we're transparent and stick to
It just
that
has to be
budget.
voted on.
Yes, and so you make an exception to
Yeah,
that.
You can make an
That's what
exception.
that's what I'm asking, if you can make an
If,
exception.
if you
because-
didn't have the PTOs, it wouldn't be an issue, and that's something we've worked at very, very hard.
Yeah. But
With
this is,
our,
but if
with
you,
all of our departments, trying
if the
to-
sheriff's department comes to you, and to me, this is essential positions, you know, that, to me, they could come to us, right, and then we could vote on it, if they needed these
Yeah,
positions.
like if it was
before
a,
then.
like if there was a compliance issue or something like that, we would.
Right, as far as jail standards.
And that is how it's been managed thus far since
Yeah.
fiscal year
Been working
2023.
pretty good.
HR will come to the court and will request on the sheriff's office behalf that the vacancies be filled prior to PTO exhaustion.
Okay.
So that's how it's been managed. However, they're getting to this great point where they have a bunch of, you know, candidates ready in the
Ready to go.
wings.
Which
but-
is wonderful.
Which is wonderful, but every time we have to wait for these positions to open up, we either have to wait or
So
we
you're
HR need to come forward and we're waiting possibly
But
2
then-
weeks
but
for a
then you
court
could
agenda.
lose those 6 people. though.
Absolutely. could.
That's
Waiting
the-
for the agenda to come forward and have court approve the exception of the PTO exhaustion. And so that,
Right now, you're saying these 8 folks are gonna be expired when?
April
is it-
15th through April 27th, some of them. And so you know, I could have come forward and asked, can these positions be filled now?
Do you send out a letter to these 6 applicants and say you are hired, but you won't be effective until a certain date to keep them on the hook?
We can do that, but they're not going to get paid in between that.
Well, I understand that, but if they know they're hired, you know, well, I'm gonna make $40,000 in Bosque County, I'm gonna make $51,000 in McLennan. Bosque said they'd hire me now, but I mean, I would rather hang tight for McLennan. Do we do that or we don't do that?
So conditional offers of employment, conditional on the vacancy, I believe are being issued by the department already, but we're asking them to hang out unpaid until
understand.
their start date.
And a young person who's put out several applications, even if it's a corporation in Waco who's paying $35 an hour for entry or something like that,
Yeah.
and you're wanting a job and needing a job, and they're saying, or you can wait 2 months and we'll hire you, they're gone.
Major Eyes, are you on?
Hi, this is Brandy Burson. Majors, I've stepped away for a meeting.
Oh, Ms. Burson, how do you feel about this right now? What are y'all thinking?
We would greatly appreciate if these were funded so that we could get some of these applicants into these positions as soon as possible.
This is their request.
I don't.
Well, then they're
I
still
think
having
it's
to
good
wait. Are we making a motion to proceed now for the 6th?
We'll approve their,
I understand for this.
Request to fund 10 positions, that's what it amounts to. They're asking permission to fund the 10 positions.
Yes, just so that they're available for these candidates that are ready for
Doesn't
hire.
mean all 10 of them.
But
can
they
get filled
shouldn't,
tomorrow.
if they would come to us, they wouldn't have to do this, right? That's what I'm just asking that question.
So if they requested to fill existing funded positions sooner,
Yes.
yes, that is an alternative that could get these folks.
Well, what do
hired.
you recommend in the future is what I'm asking. That's all I'm just trying to get.
For the future, I would recommend funding the
Instead of
additional positions because it'll be the way recruiting has gone, it's gone well. And so I can see HR having to come repeatedly and waiting 2 weeks to provide that exception request to the court. We'll be back here, basically, if we do it the other way.
If they have these 10, they can do it when they want to.
Exactly. they're not-
I get that. I just want to make sure if there was an easier way so they wouldn't have to come to court. Well, I make a motion, we approve the 10 positions.
Second?
I have a motion, second, any other discussion?
I would have one comment, Commissioner. and I haven't been on here as long as some, well, most everybody else, besides you and me.
Yeah.
I've never had any department head or official come to us and want to fill a position right now, even though somebody's got PTO for a month, that hasn't said it's a crucial position,
Well, I understand that.
right? Yeah.
But guarding the bad guys is very crucial to me, so. And
Call
girls,
for the question.
bad girls and bad.
All right, any other questions or comments? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Thank you.
All right, we can move on to item F, bids, RFPs, RFQs. F1 is authorization to manage engine product subscription quote with SHI Government Solutions for service desk licenses for jail maintenance. John?
Morning.
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 So this request is to extend our existing IT service management tool to the jail. Now, you've already approved our extension to the jail, but we found 26 licenses for the jail staff. This would be a cost of $1,264.44 for the rest of this period up until July 31st. Now, we did not include this in our original budget request, but we do have the funds to cover this purchase. It has been recommended for approval.
All right, any questions?
Make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
F2 is authorization of recommendation for bid 26-002 aggregate surface treatment. Ken?
Yes, sir. On this particular bid, we received bids from Texas Materials Group, Armadillo Materials, Green Dream International, and Dollins Materials Company. These first ones I'm going to read off are for us to pick up, and for the grade 3 types B, C, and D, Green Dream International bid only on the type B, and they bid $51.30 per ton. Dollins Materials bid on type C, and they bid $24 per ton. On the grade 4, Texas Materials bid on types B, C, and D, and they bid $30 per ton. Green Dream International bid on type B, and they bid $45.50 per ton. No one bid on the grade 4S. On the grade 5, Texas Material Group bid $30 per ton on types B, C, and D. Armadillo Materials bid $11.75 per ton, types B, C, and D. Green Dream International bid $71.82 per ton on type B. Dollins Materials Company bid $24 per ton on type C. No one bid on the 5S. And then on concrete sand, Armadillo Materials bid $10.25 per ton. Dollins Materials bid $14 per ton, and Texas Material Group bid $20. On the same materials delivered on the grade 3, Green Dream International bid on the type D at $83.22 per ton. Dollins Materials bid $34 per ton for the type B. On the grade 4, Texas Material Group bid $55 per ton on the grades B, C, and D. Green Dream International bid $77.52 on the type B. Again, no one bid on the 4S. On the grade 5, Texas Material Group bid $55 per ton on types B, C, and D. Green Dream International bid $71.82 on the type B, and Dollins Material Company bid $34 per ton on type C. No one bid on the 5S. And then on concrete sand, Dollins Material Company bid $24 per ton. Texas Materials Group bid $81 per ton. And again, recommendations pretty much in two parts. We recommend McClendon County grant the award for aggregate surface treatment that are picked up in our McClendon County trucks to all bidders based on location and availability. And I guess probably some of these we haven't used before, probably want to check how well it meets our specifications. And again, the Commissioners Court can award purchase of road materials to more than one bidder if each of the selected bidders submits the lowest and best bid for particular location and type under Local Government Code 262.027. We recommend McLennan County grant the award for aggregate surface treatment that are delivered to the lowest bidder for the respective aggregates based on prices and availability in the following manner. Type B, C, and D, grade 3 to Dollins Materials. Type B, C, D, grade 4 to Texas Materials at $55 per ton. Type B, C, and D, grade 5 to Texas Materials Group at $55 per ton. And the grade 3, the concrete sand to Dollins Materials at $24 per ton. Sorry. And again, if approved by court, this will be in effect from April 1, 2026 to March 31, 2027. And again, on my recommendation sheet, I see that there was a mistake there on the last deal where it should be, had concrete 3, grade 3 to Dollins Materials. That should have been concrete sand on the last little entry there.
That last entry, okay.
So anyway, again, that's the recommendation from purchasing.
Y'all ever worry about a bid coming in just extremely low? That, you know, that.
Saw that a couple of times this year.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, if we need to check if it meets our specifications, because I can't do all that, you know, just on a bidded amount. So I'll go ahead and award, but if it doesn't meet our specification, we'll come back and we'll work that out.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's an indication of a financial issue that they're just trying to grab money.
Well, I think sometimes it just doesn't really meet our specification, but I can't tell.
They're trying to pawn it off, okay. Okay, much pleasure to court.
Judge, motion to approve the recommendation of purchasing.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
F3 is authorization of estimate with Canyon Telecom for radio tower removal from annex building, and this goes along with I2D, a budget amendment. TJ?
So it's pretty straightforward. It's removal of the 80-foot tower on top of the annex building, just trying to clean up the roof system a little bit. This company will come out, disassemble the unit, stack it up on the roof for us, and then John Irwin is going to help us get it off the roof with their SkyTrack. So some of you guys may have seen it, but we flew the old generator off and the old shelter off a couple of weeks ago, so that was a win for us. So this is kind of the last piece, get it cleaned up a little bit.
All right, what's pleasure, court?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion made and second. Any other discussion?
Yeah, would that be Commissioner F3 and I2D both?
Sure.
Okay. Thought I'd ask.
Is this on the annex or the jail?
It's on the annex.
On annex, big tall tower on annex.
I couldn't remember where, I mean, I've seen it.
I thought maybe we'd use those tower people just to blast it off.
That would have been fun, wouldn't it?
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you, TJ.
Under item G, contracts and interlocal agreements, G1 is authorization of memorandum of understanding with Sunshine Recovery House for sober living support and housing for specialty courts. Back in June of 25, we approved an MOU with this group. The cost for that has increased by $25 a week. This is a service that is paid for by the county. It's then reimbursed through grant funds received from the Texas Bar Foundation, and it provides for transitional sober living support and housing for specialty court offenders. It's been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
All right, any questions?
Grant will cover the extra funding?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Motion to approve, Judge.
All right.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
G2 is authorization of interlocal cooperative agreement with the City of Lorena for routine road blading. Commissioner Smith?
Yes, sir. We there's a portion of these roads that are within the city limits of, Lorena, gravel roads. We're blading them as we go along, and then we have to raise the blade to go through, and Lorena, is kind enough to, ask us to go ahead and blade that portion of it when we blading on either end. So, it's a advantage to them to have us go ahead and do it. So, they've agreed to pay us the $500 for doing it. So, my motion would be to approve the agreement.
And the 500 is based on what?
Based on our cost of our equipment,
Okay.
yeah, and our person doing it. We don't do it very often, obviously, but when we go through, you got the old temple on either end and the temple in the middle, and you just keep going.
Yeah, okay. You did that in precinct 2, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Were you gonna second? Okay.
Second.
Commissioner Jones, second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
G3 is regarding the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Intergovernmental Services Agreements. G3A, B, C, and D. These are all agreements with ICE to obligate additional funding to our agreement with them, and they've been reviewed and recommended for approval.
Okay, all right, any questions on those?
Motion to approve G3A, G3B, G3C, and G3D.
All right, I'll second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
G4 is authorization of memorandum of understanding with McLennan Community College for adult education program at the McLennan County Jail. Major Ives?
Yes, we're trying to start an agreement with MCC to run an on-site GED program for our inmates. There's no financial consideration on the county's behalf. They're providing this service free of charge, where they're going to come to our facility and teach these classes for us as a service for our inmate population. It's something we've been looking for, upfitting for. We are spending some commissary account money trying to upfit the technology, the wire drops, and some tables for the classroom, so there won't be any financial concern on the county's part on that side either. So we would recommend this for approval.
All right, any questions?
No question, but just a comment. I think it's great, David. I think it's a great opportunity. I hope
thanks, sir.
I hope lots of people take advantage of it. Motion to approve,
Yes, sir.
Judge.
Second.
All right, motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. G5.
G5 is regarding the industrial business grant, amended and restated industrial business grant agreements with Zinc Power Waco, authorization of grant payment. And we've entered into this IBG with Zinc Power before. They have met the total capital investment numbers of $31 million in real and personal property, and they have 112 full-time employees. They've sent their certification into us. It has been reviewed by the chamber, and so this payment under the IBG program would be in the amount of $63,791.54, and is recommended for approval.
All right, any questions? All right, I'll make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Payment. All right, have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
G6 is authorization of use agreement with Waco Rowing Club, doing business as Waco Rowing Center, rowing championship event at Trading House Lake Park. So the Waco Rowing Center is requesting use of the Trading House Lake Park from April 16th to April 19th for another rowing championship event. This, if approved today, this would kick off kind of the mass gathering permit process where Judge Felton would end up holding a hearing after their plans are sent to the sheriff's office, to the local health authority, and also to emergency management. So what's before you today is the use agreement for use of the park.
All right, this is carbon copy of what we did last time. Worked very well.
I motion to approve the use agreement because it's exciting for precinct 2 only, but and McLennan County and the whole.
Okey-doke, I'll second. Any other discussion?
Judge, remind me, are they required to take any kind of insurance out?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay,
Yeah, we've got an agreement that's been reviewed by our attorneys, and they're meeting all those requests.
Very good.
I have motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
G7 is authorization of service maintenance agreement quote with Service IT Direct for Dell PowerEdge and Dell VxRail equipment and switches support for information technology. John?
Yes, this is just our yearly maintenance for our file server and our disaster recovery site. The total here is $16,934.40, and it was included in the budget this year.
All right, any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Made and second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
G8 is authorization of Lexus Plus subscription amendment with LexisNexis for the 414th District Court. Judge Luna currently has the base subscription with LexisNexis, but would like to expand that. So the current pricing was $113 a month. It'll move to $148 a month through August of 2027, then will increase to $153 a month through August of 2028. So we just need a motion to approve this amendment with LexisNexis.
All right, any questions? If not, I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Motion made and second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
G9 is authorization of service agreement, Astro System upgrade agreement, and related statements of work with Motorola Solutions for the radio tower site maintenance for Road and Bridge Precincts contract. Ken?
Yes, again, this is for the Motorola equipment at each of the tower sites. Amount is $40,791.04. A little bit of increase over last year, but again, I don't think we had one of the towers completely on last year. So anyway, if approved, it'll be for this next year, 10/1/26 through 9/30/27.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the agreement with Motorola Solutions?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made, second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
G10s regarding the master engineering and consulting services agreement, work order number 1 with Lockwood Andrews and Newnham Incorporated, authorization of professional services invoice. This is on their water consulting services. This is the contract that works with the Central Texas Water Alliance and also with the Water Resources Group. This invoice totals $6,381.58 and is recommended for approval.
All right, any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, I have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
G11 is authorization of interlocal cooperation agreement with the city of Ross for road work. Commissioner Jones?
So this is interlocal with the city of Ross to reclaim and chip seal Old Dallas Road in the amount of $30,000.
All right, any questions? If not,
I make a motion to approve the agreement with the city of Ross.
all right, I'll second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
Move on to item H, capital improvement and construction projects. H1s regarding the Brushy Creek Bridge upgrade on 7 Mile Lane, agreement with BGE, authorization of invoice. Amy?
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
This first invoice is just professional services for BGE. We've dusted off these contracts and got them back working, so we're going to be bringing them to you for bid probably in the next month or so. BGE is just working on the final bid package documents in conjunction with Ken's office.
All right, any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
And the H2s are on the Big Creek Bridge upgrade on Thompson Road, agreement with BGE, authorization of invoice. Amy?
This is ditto, same as the last one.
All right, any questions? All right, no questions, is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
Thank you.
Thank you.
H3s regarding the McLennan County Justice of the Peace Precinct 5 edition. H3A is authorization of professional services invoice with CP&Y doing business as STV. And then H3B is authorization of payment application number 6 from HCS. Ken?
Yes, the STV invoice for work at, on the JP5 building is in the amount of $2,028.19. Been reviewed and recommended for approval. And then on the HCS pay application for JP5 is in the amount of $50,100 $172.04 been reviewed and recommended for approval, also signed off by Vickers at STV.
All right, any questions?
Ken, remind me again what decade we're gonna be through with this?
We're getting awful close, are we not, TJ?
We are. They should receive their finals sometime this week, and then we've got to do the break-in between the new construction and the court. We're working with the judge's schedule, so that'll happen a little bit later this month, and then we're going to review the carpet in the courtroom. So we're close.
Thank you.
Well, the answer is, Commissioner, this decade.
Okay, motion to approve H3A and H3B.
All right,
Second.
motion, you got a second, any other discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
Right under item I, budget amendments, I-1s regarding the FY25 budget. Francis?
Yes, so I-1A is a 2025 budget amendment. This is an accounting cleanup entry for year end. And so it is related to a software-based arrangement. We're increasing capital outlay in a corresponding revenue to take care of that.
All right,
Then,
go ahead.
I can keep going. Starting with I-2, those are 2026 budget amendments. So I-2A is General Fund County Court at Law 3, requesting to move within that department into software licensing to cover cost for a software that they utilize. I-2B, this is General Fund Constable Precinct 5, requesting to move within that department into other services and charges for an increase in their TransUnion cost, and then also some other remaining costs for the second half of the fiscal year. I-2C, this is Fund 141. This is our Justice Court Support Fund. And this is a request from JP12. They are needing to purchase a laptop, and so this fund is an appropriate place to charge that expense. And so we're requesting to allocate that amount needed for the laptop into that department's furniture and equipment line. I-2D, this is General Fund Maintenance of Buildings. This is related to item G7 that you, I'm sorry, not G7.
We approved that already.
F3 earlier on the agenda, and so this is related to the tower removal on the annex building. And the request we're asking to come from contingencies to move into the appropriate line. Sorry. I-2E. This is General Fund Sheriff's Department. They are requesting a budget amendment within the same line but different departments for the travel reimbursement for the remainder of the year. And then I-2F, we need to defer today, please.
All right, I make a motion, we defer I-2F.
Second.
Motion made and second, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those pass.
So Judge, didn't we already approve I-2D when we approved F3? Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's right, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve with the exception of I-2D
Well, you
and
still,
I-2.
I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt. You still need to approve the budget amendment. You approved the work to be done.
I thought we approved both of them in the
Oh,
motion.
you did both?
In the
Yeah,
motion.
we
I
did,
apologize.
it was kind of thrown in on the tail end.
Okay.
Yeah,
Proceed.
yeah, it was a late suggestion that
Sorry.
we adopted. So go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay, with the exception of I-2D and I-2F, motion to approve I-1A through, I-2E?
Yeah,
Okay.
all right, I'll second, any other discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
I-2G is authorization of Texas Association of Counties claim deductible invoices. All three of these are related to law enforcement, and I'll step through them. I-2G1 is an invoice totaling $279.25 for claims associated with Daniel Ballou. I-2G2, it totals $5,572.50 and is associated with Kyle Nielsen. And I-2G3 totals $1,725 for a claim associated with Tyler Finch. These are all recommended for approval.
All right, I've looked at all of these along, of course, the attorneys, and I recommend we approve these.
Could I have a question?
Yeah.
What is our deductible?
On these, it is $10,000.
Okay, and it's not
10,000
aggregated,
each.
it's not aggregated either, it's each individual, okay. Motion to approve.
Each
Judge.
occurrence.
Motion to approve.
All right, I have a motion, and I made the motion, and,
Second then.
you second, and, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those pass.
And you're confident that these are moving through the system like they ought to?
Yes, sir.
Right, moving on to item J, real estate right-of-way. J1 is authorization of easement and right-of-way with Encore Electric Delivery Company for primary power feed for courthouse complex and judicial center. Ken?
Well, this is much like we already did when we were moving the transformers from one side of the alley to the other side of the alley. Just for Encore purposes, we need to do this easement right away for the movement from behind the courthouse over across Fifth Street. So again, this is just having everything in place to make that happen. It's still ways away, but we'll have this in place.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, any questions? All right, is there a motion to approve the easement and right-of-way?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those pass.
Under item K, grants and grant proposals. K1 is our ARPA discussion. I believe we need to defer item K1A.
All right, I'll make a motion, we defer K1A.
Second.
Second, have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those pass.
K1B is authorization of second amended subrecipient agreement with the City of Riesel. This is American Rescue Plan Act funding. This adds land and easement acquisition and associated services to the project list, and total funding amount remains the same. And Tom and Haley had touched on this last week, so this is recommended for approval.
All right, any questions?
I make a motion, second amendment, second agreement with City of Riesel.
All right, I'll second, any other discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those pass.
K1C is regarding the professional consulting contract addendums with Lockwood, Andrews, and Newnham. Authorization of professional services invoice. This invoice totals $5,110.64 for expenses related to ARPA and is recommended for approval.
All right, any questions?
I would have one question real quick, Judge. Are we going to continue to have enough ARPA funding to pay the consultants, or at some point when somebody's not using all their money, or are we going to need to claw back some of that money so we have enough money to finish paying our ARPA consulting?
So we have what was allocated for the LAN contract for ARPA specifically. We have almost exhausted those funds. And so those are much needed services for this large grant that we received. And so we'll be bringing something to you
So
soon.
maybe in the future, we need to look back at clawing back some of that money instead of letting them use it for something else, each of those recipients?
Yes, if we have other instances come up in the future, it's something that will just need to be discussed.
Aware of.
But I know that probably in the near future, is in like the next week or so, we'll be having some discussions with Dustin on that, and then get some feedback, and then we'll bring something to you quickly.
Right, there'll be areas where unused ARPA money could be applied, and it would fit the criteria. Is that right, Dustin?
Yes, sir.
Certain aspects of judicial center.
My hope would be we don't have to dip into general fund to pay consultants when we had that much money to allocate to start with. Okay.
Understand. And then this is different from the Central Texas Water Alliance work that he's done.
Yeah, this is
ARPA
strictly-
only.
This is strictly ARPA.
Yeah, I'll be sure everybody understood that. Okay, any other questions? All right, I'd make a motion, we approve this payment.
Second.
Motion made and second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those pass.
All right, moving down to item M, additional items, down to item M3, authorization of space allocation for second mother's room on third floor courthouse. TJ?
All right, so most of you are probably aware, but we've had an influx of users for the new mother's room that we've put in at the courthouse. So we're asking court's approval to go ahead and expand to this second one. The space that we're showing on the drawing used to be an old ice machine room. I guess about 2 years ago, we converted it over to a room that adult probation could use for their paperwork and for getting folks signed up. They no longer use the space, so it's completely underutilized. Utilities are already there, kind of underneath the floor, so it's gonna be really easy for us to sit up with a sink and micro fridge, chair, and all that good stuff.
ADA compliant and all that.
Well, this one will not be ADA compliant.
Okay.
Because it's at the top of that ramp.
Okay.
So the one on
That's right.
this side of the courthouse.
One
will-
up, yeah.
We will have one.
Right, right.
And it'll be insulated so the crane doesn't get leaked through.
And it meets Texas statute on lactation stations and so forth.
I don't know that there is one. Anna?
Oh, yes, there is.
If it's similar to the one that already exists, it'll recommended practice.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Okay,
And it's got a window with a view.
all right, good deal.
I had to put one in at the credit union.
Yeah, we put one at the bank, two at the bank. All right, any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right, have motion second, which is a fatherly thing to do. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
Right, item M5 is announcement of interest or possible future agenda topics. Anything that the court would like to discuss here? If not, we'll move on to item N.
Can we,
Hold on.
can we bring up the letter from?
Yes, sir. We can mention that it'll be on the next agenda, Commissioner.
Okay, so you'll be receiving, there's a letter of support for some funding of studies for feasibility studies for bridges over the Brazos River, a north crossing and a south crossing.
Yay.
So this was brought up thanks to Judge Felton at a chamber meeting, and there may be some federal funds available for this. And I think we're going to sign the letter and ratify it. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah,
Yes,
we'll,
sir.
before y'all leave, we could sign the letter and we'll ratify it next month before, but it doesn't cost us anything. And it'd really give an economic boom around those crossing areas and so.
Safety too.
Yeah, and so June, besides sending this out, we'll also be in contact with our representatives, federal representatives, and then I'll be in DC in June also to press to get some of these things supported. But I see really our representatives supporting this as well.
This will give TxDOT a shot in the arm.
Right. So
as
it's
far
on the
as moving
MPO, but it's not funded.
It's not funded at all.
So- And Commissioner Wilson's been close to this, Wilson, what's your name?
Commissioner Jones?
Jones Wilson, I mean.
Turn your nameplate around there.
Okay.
All right, we will have that letter of support on the next agenda for ratification.
Great.
All right, thank you.
Moving on to item N, Americans with Disabilities Compliance Project. N1 is authorization of professional service invoice with CPNY doing business as SDV. This is for the Record Building ADA project, and it totals $688.50, and it is for their work through February 27th and is recommended for approval.
All right, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve. Second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion?
I would just say, this goes along with that question I had about what decade?
Yeah, where are we on this?
So, they are probably about 90% done on the drawing phase of this particular project. So we're waiting in the wings because we don't have anywhere to park folks. So part of this project is construction and rehabilitation of the parking lot itself because it won't meet specs. So we are waiting, probably gonna hold this off to 2027, maybe 2028, when we can gain access to the laydown yard, so we'll have a place to park folks before we start ripping in the parking lot.
Good point.
Now, that being said, we had talked about doing a couple of different phases where we can do some of the interior work and not obstruct the parking lot and continue on, but that's what we're waiting on,
Okay.
places to park.
Yeah, it's a timing issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I'll make a motion we approve.
Second.
Have a motion, second, any other discussion? No other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
Under item O, McLennan County Downtown Jail Remodel Project. O1's regarding construction manager at risk agreement with John W. Irwin. O&A is authorization of application for our partial payment number 15. This partial payment totals $3,487,463. It has been reviewed by our group and is recommended for approval.
All right, any questions?
Motion to approve.
All right, have a motion, second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
Judge, I believe that should be all the action items.
Okay. All clear? Okay. All right, anything else to come before the court today? And we will have that letter, I guess it's here somewhere. Dustin, do you have it, or Reagan, you don't have it, do you? Dustin, can you get that down here?
Yes, sir. We will get it down to you.
All right, we will adjourn. Thank you.
Second.